Modern Warfare 3 is right around the corner, and while it doesn't seem like it, it's only a couple of months away. And with that being said, there's a ton of information that you need to know about Modern Warfare 3. There's a ton of information that I need to tell you, and there's a ton of information that will shock you when you find out about it from Modern Warfare 3. Starting off with one of the most shocking and most interesting things about Modern Warfare 3 was that it was not originally designed to be a standalone game. In 2023, we're going to get Modern Warfare 3, but it was originally supposed to be a Year 2 DLC for Modern Warfare 2. They had planned a 2-year life cycle for Modern Warfare 2, but midway through production they realized that the amount of content they were going to release for Modern Warfare 3 was so much that they really even couldn't call it a DLC, because it was basically another game. With that being said, it's going to have all of the same gameplay, the same features, all the things that we see in Modern Warfare 2 currently, including all the weapons and all the operators, will all be pulled into Modern Warfare 3. However, there is some really good news about Modern Warfare 3. It will not suffer all of the big problems that Modern Warfare 2 has. With the way game production works nowadays, about 6 months before the game releases, when you get it into its beta build, you actually take about 3/4 of your staff and move them on to the next project. So around July in 2022, all of these Call of Duty developers who had been working on Modern Warfare 2 were pulled to start working on Modern Warfare 3. At the time, they had been told it was going to be a Modern Warfare 2 DLC, but as things started evolving and they started creating more content for Modern Warfare 3, they realized they really couldn't just release a DLC for the game. It had to be a whole other thing. And one of the things that really drove them to change Modern Warfare 2 from a DLC into a full game was the Call of Duty Next event. But the Call of Duty Next event really revealed the big issues with Modern Warfare 2 that we didn't like. On day 1 of the Call of Duty Next event, when everyone got to play it, they said the gameplay was too slow, the movement was too slow, and the time to kill was too slow. So just to show you real quick, just to prove that this is really all too slow in comparison to previous Call of Duty games, this is a video right here of the original Modern Warfare 3 and the movement on the same map as Modern Warfare 2. All of these things are the exact same distance in game, it's just a basically retextured version of the same map. As you can see, you move faster in Modern Warfare 3, and you kill faster in Modern Warfare 3. So with all of this big outrage in the Call of Duty Next event about this, and it's the thing that they asked content creators about what they would like to change, and it was a resounding answer across the board. So this basically means that they actually listened to us, and this is where they decided they needed to make a new game. They actually pulled another 10% of their staff, bringing up to 85% of their staff away from Modern Warfare 2 to start working on Modern Warfare 3. And this is kind of one of the reasons that we've seen so little support from Modern Warfare 2 in comparison to the last 3 years of Call of Duty titles we had before Modern Warfare 2. But what we really see is that these season updates and the reloaded updates are the only real major changes that happened to the game. In Modern Warfare 2019, we had new content coming out every week. We had a bunch of new stuff coming out everywhere for Black Ops Cold War, and even as bad as Vanguard was, there was new content for it all the time. With Modern Warfare 2, we didn't really get a bunch of support for the game. There's still a lot of issues in the game that we don't like. The movement never got fixed, and the time to kill is still slow. However, that's because they pulled so much staff to work on Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 is going to address all of the issues that we have with Modern Warfare 2. The time to kill, the movement, and all the smoothness of the game, and they're trying to fix that right now so Modern Warfare 3 can launch at full volume. It could bring players back to the Call of Duty series because Call of Duty, much like a lot of first-person shooters, are kind of down bad right now. But unfortunately, because they pulled so much staff to Modern Warfare 3, it means that we really won't see these changes implemented until Season 5 or 6 of Modern Warfare 2, if they get to a Season 6. These changes are going to be introduced at the very last second in Modern Warfare 2, will probably bring back a lot of players, because a lot of players will want to experience this, but it'll really be a test drive for Modern Warfare 3, so they can judge and gauge what the success of Modern Warfare 3 will be. But to me, the far more interesting thing about Modern Warfare 3 is not necessarily gameplay and the way the game will work, but the narrative story that's being built after Modern Warfare 2 and by Modern Warfare 2 leading into Modern Warfare 3. There are so many different angles and so many different loose ends that need to be tied, wink wink, but basically this means that there's a lot of things that Call of Duty is going to have to pull together, and they must have some grand plan because, as we already know, there's another Modern Warfare game that's being developed for 2025. So the narrative story of Modern Warfare 3 is not going to neatly wrap up and solve all of the issues that happen in Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2. It's going to have to expand and kind of narrow and streamline all of these interconnected stories together to reveal the big plot that's going on. And Activision must have some great writers because this story keeps evolving and evolving, and it turns in ways that we don't expect. And one of the things they're going to have to do is make all this interconnected universe they're building for Modern Warfare work together. So in Modern Warfare 2019, we had a ton of new characters and a ton of new factions introduced. We had the Al-Qatala terrorists introduced. We had Farah Karim and her Urzikstan rebellion force introduced. Hadir Karim, her brother, who later turned out to be a bad guy. And Alex Keller, who is kind of one of the main characters of Modern Warfare 2019. But Modern Warfare 2019 introduced a bunch of different loose ends in itself. The very end of the game, Hadir Karim is thrown in prison. Farah's brother is thrown in prison. And in the brand new raid we got for Season 2, it's revealed that Hadir Karim is not really in jail. As a matter of fact, he is the sole and only commander of the Al-Qatala forces. And he is being kind of led on by somebody and guided to do all these things against Russia. He's specifically targeting the Russians, which is a very unique angle because Hadir hates the Russians, but he also kind of hates the Americans because the Americans were the ones who threw him in jail in the first place. But whoever this is that's leading Hadir on is leading him through an atom grad with a nuclear warhead, and he's going to try to detonate this nuclear warhead in Russia. So with Hadir Karim being the sole and only person in charge of Al-Qatala, he's not going to get his story wrapped up in the Modern Warfare 2 raids. He's going to play a bigger role in Modern Warfare 3. But you can't have Hadir Karim without his sister Farah. Farah is the kind of yin and yang to Hadir's actions. She stands on the other side of the conflict. As a matter of fact, she stands against Al-Qatala because Al-Qatala are terrorists. They're attacking other people to accomplish their goals. Whereas Farah's goal is to work internally to solve the problems that they already have in her country and try to resolve them. Al-Qatala looks outwards to resolve the problem. Farah looks inwards. They have very conflicting views, but at the end of the day, they're both working towards their country, Urzikstan. They're trying to resolve the problems of Urzikstan. And between these two, you have Alex. Alex Keller is one of the most interesting characters in Call of Duty, because not only is he a CIA operative, but he's shown that he has a dedication and a commitment to doing good, to being moral. He wants to help Farah and the Urzikstan Rebellion Force to solve the problems in Urzikstan, to help establish them as a real country with a good working democracy and government. However, everything that Alex Keller does is to benefit somebody, to some country. He's not just doing things because he's told to go somewhere and do something. He made a decision at the end of Modern Warfare 2019 to act in a way that is moral, to make decisions for himself on what he wants to work for. That's why we saw him in Verdansk, and that's why we're seeing him again in this Atom Grad, working hard to resolve the issues of other countries. He has no business to be in this Atom Grad with the Urzikstan Rebellion Force, but he's trying to stop a nuclear warhead from going off. He doesn't know this target, but all he cares about is stopping this. But his story is as deeply tied to Farah's as it is to Hadir's, and frankly, he's getting pulled between these two, and Modern Warfare 3 is going to have to address this kind of narrative conflict that we're seeing between these characters. But that's only Modern Warfare 2019. There's still a ton of other things that aren't resolved from Modern Warfare 2. In Modern Warfare 2, spoiler for those of y'all who haven't played it yet, some missiles are stolen, and these missiles are high explosive payload. These missiles are stolen and they're given to Al-Qatala terrorists who want to detonate them in the United States. So they work with a cartel to smuggle them across the border. And this kind of conflict sets up for the main story of Modern Warfare 2. However, it's revealed later in the campaign that the person who was smuggling these missiles in the first place and trying to move these missiles was Shadow Company. Shadow Company was working really well with the US government. They were trying to stop a lot of these terrorists, and these big missiles were a good way to take out a lot of terrorists who were grouped together in one area. However, they're ambushed by a Russian private military company. And so instead of addressing the problem head on, they kind of try to hide the problem. And all this time, they're still working for the US government, specifically working for General Shepard. General Shepard sweeps all of this under the rug because he doesn't want to become a big international incident. And he starts working to try to resolve this issue with the private military company, and ends up actually committing treason in the process. So he kind of just disappears, he dips. No one knows where he goes, but he's still a massive loose end because he has a lot of sway in the way the military works. And he has a lot of friends and a lot of political power that we really don't see in Modern Warfare 2, but we're told about. And with him disappearing, it also presents another issue, another loose end. Shadow Company just kind of doesn't really shut down after the events of Modern Warfare 2. The person in charge supposedly dies. Philip Graves supposedly dies, the leader of Shadow Company. However, we really don't see him die. We hear his voice over a radio. We see a tank pull up and we start fighting this tank at the end of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. And you blow up this tank and the communications stop. But we never see him get in this tank. We never see his body in this tank. And tanks are usually driven by a crew of people, 3 or 4 people who are in charge of that tank and work together to make all these things happen. You have one person who just drives the tank forwards, backwards, left, and right. You have one person who just rotates the turret. You have one person who loads the gun. But we never see any of these people in the tank. We never see any of this confirmation of anyone dying. And with these communications cutting off suddenly, with no kind of death screech, it all kind of stacks with this information and this intel that we learn about in Modern Warfare 2 in the different Spec Ops missions and DMZ and all these other things. It appears that Shadow Company is still operating and active, and they're still being led by Philip Graves. It's never said to him by name, but it's indicated, and a lot of things are hinting at that he is not dead and he is in charge of Shadow Company. So he himself is a big loose end. Along with General Shepard, who's probably still in charge of Shadow Company, these loose ends are kind of tying together for those two, and they have a narrative story that's not being entirely revealed yet. But this brings me back to kind of the narrative catalyst going into Modern Warfare 3. The story in Modern Warfare 2 is that a Russian private military company stole the missiles from Shadow Company. They turned around and gave them to Al-Qatala to use against the United States. They got this kind of Al-Qatala cartel partnership going so that way they work together to smuggle the missiles into the United States. But this is a Russian private military company. They're a private company. They need to be paid by somebody. Somebody who has lots of money from different arms deals like we see at the very beginning of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, selling a mass of vehicles and weapons to an Al-Qatala force general, General Garbrani. And then on top of that, he has a private military company he can use to do whatever he wants. And he has the power to make the cartel in Mexico work with a terrorist organization in the Middle East. This person was revealed to be Makarov. And Makarov's story is going to be very, very interesting this time around. In the original story, he was an ultra-nationalist for Russia, and he had all these goals to make basically everything happen to make it look like Russia was the good guy and America was the bad guy and Russia was the world power. And we're seeing a lot of these new trends with Makarov in the new Modern Warfare series, but he's a little bit different this time. He's not necessarily as hands-on as he was in the original series. He prefers to stay back in the shadows. He tries to manipulate everything. He's more of a mastermind, and he's not really the getting your hands dirty type of person that we saw in the original Modern Warfare 2. And one of the biggest things that he did in the original series that we're seeing happen again in the new series is kind of setting up the United States and Russia to fight each other, and he does this with no Russian. In the original Modern Warfare series, the no Russian mission, he used American guns and American ammunition to attack a Russian airport. In the new Modern Warfare series, we see that he has a brand new group of soldiers who are actually on a plane who build this kind of concoction of a gun out of random parts they stashed, and they're told not to use Russian, but to attack a plane, to use English to make it seem like there's a reason this Russian plane got hijacked. And on top of that, he's also supporting Hadir to use a nuclear missile in Russia. He wants something to happen in Russia that just enrages the people, that makes them angry and kind of pushes them to the brink of war with the United States. But he's doing this by making it seem like the United States is the one who are committing these acts against Russia. And this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg for his story. We really have a lot more of his story to go, considering it's not going to be wrapped up in Modern Warfare 3, and he's going to be the main villain of Modern Warfare 4. We can assume that his story is going to evolve a lot more, and he's probably going to lead into, at the end of Modern Warfare 3, a massive world war, like it was in the original series, but at this time, Modern Warfare 3 will be the start of World War 3. And there's a ton of other stuff in Modern Warfare 3 that we just don't know about yet, but I will keep you up to date with it as soon as I find out. So make sure you're subscribed down below. And if you want to know about the next 3 years of Call of Duty titles, I have a video right here that you should check out. And until next time, I am IceBurgz, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.